I guess. Hi, happy returning back from spring break. So last week, this is what I graphed for you. I graphed a sine function and it looked like this, approximately. This is not perfect. It's like that, right? Started at 0, 0. This was the sine function. You don't say sin, you say sine. Approximately that. Cosine. Cosine goes through a full cycle, but it starts, has a y-intercept. So don't draw anything on your paper yet. But it starts like this, and I'm going to go, let me make sure that I get the period. It's still 2 pi. So I'm going to go, Okay, so that's what cosine looks like. Okay, so this is cosine. So today we're blue. Today we're doing cosine. All of the important ordered pairs are here. Let me tell you what the parent function represents. The parent function represents 1 times cosine of 1 times x. My A and B, do you remember that from last, well, 2 weeks ago? The period. The period means how long until my shape, my curve goes back to where it started. So I'm going to have a couple of things. My amplitude is the absolute value of A. My period is 2 pi over B. My frequency is the reciprocal of my period. All right. Midline is going to be, we're going to have to do it for this one anyways. You'll see underneath the graph, these questions are asked. Midline is the equation of the line, y equals 0, and that's my, my dotted line, right? That cuts it in half. All right, so you need your unit circle handy. We are going to go through. Please remember that cosine in the ordered pairs is the first number in your parentheses. That's cosine. So I put this up here again, cosine comma sine, so you'd have that as a reference. And I'm going to actually plot the ordered pairs now that are on, they're supposed to be. The shaded, most important ones are shaded. Okay, here we go. That thing needs to go away. Okay, here we go. 2 pi is the period. I got that, but how did I know that? Well, my A and B are both 1, so my period is 2 pi over 1. So it's just 2 pi. Then my amplitude is going to be the absolute value of 1. I made my 1 super teeny tiny. Do you guys want to come to the middle, or do you like it there?
I'm okay.
Okay, so I don't want to block you. No. All right. So let's plot these ordered pairs. 0, 1. Y-intercept is 1. Pi over 3. I don't see a pi over 3 on my x-axis. Well, pi over 3 on your unit circle is in quadrant 1. It is close to pi over 2 because, you know, like pi over 3 is 60 degrees, pi over 2 is 90 degrees, so they're really close. So I could say pi over 3 is, I don't know, here, whatever. That's fine. Pi over 3 comma 1/2. Horrible choice for me to put it above the 1/2. I don't know, like there approximately. I'm just plotting these order pairs. Pi over 2 comma 0 is there. 2 pi over 3. I don't see it. It's in quadrant 2. This is quadrant 2. 2 pi over 3 is going to be my 120 degrees. So I could just, I don't know, 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3 comma negative 1/2. So go down approximately there.
Miss Grant?
Yeah?
Is this a notes page or is this the first one we had and we'll just review it?
This is in the notes packet from chapter 7, and we're at the very end because right before spring break, we didn't finish this packet. We did graphing sine, but we didn't do graphing cosine.
Oh, okay.
That's where this is located. Pi, comma negative 1. Four pi over 3, where's that? Well, it's in quadrant 3. And like there's fine. 4 pi over 3 comma, wait, where am I at? Pi comma negative 1. 4 pi over 3 comma negative 1/2. 3 pi over 2 comma 0. Five pi over 3. Okay, so where's 5 pi over 3? So if you look, this is obviously going to be in quadrant 4. So 5 pi over 3, I'm going to put right here is fine. And that's going to be a positive 1/2. I'm just approximating where my order pairs are. Lastly, 2 pi comma 1. All right. So here we go. Connect them. I want it to flow and look fluid. Okay, try your best. Okay. So frequency, 1 over 2 pi. Reciprocal of my period 2 pi, 1 over 2 pi. Midline, y equals 0. This is it. Here's all the key features. These are listed below the graph. You see them below the graph down there? And this is the shape of the graph. So I'll give you 30 more seconds and then I'm going to go down to example 2 and example 4, right at the bottom of the page. All right. Two and four. You will not be given a graph. We are simply given the function, the equation, and we need to identify the key features. So I left the definitions here. This 1/2 is my A, pi is my B, okay? So, amplitude, absolute value of 1/2 is 1/2. Period, 2 pi over B. My B is pi. We haven't had that happen before. But simplification, I'm going to get 2. My midline, that's always going to be the same. We're not getting into detail where we're doing transformations. So frequency, reciprocal of the period, right? If my period is 2, my reciprocal, 1/2. Let's jump to example 4. Okay. Amplitude, absolute value of A. 1. Period, this is harder. 2 pi, I'll do way over here, over B. Look at how complicated B looks. B is a fraction itself. So this isn't okay. Cannot have a fraction in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal on the denominator and on the numerator. Whatever you do to want to, like, you know, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation. Whatever you do to do a denominator of a fraction, you have to do to the numerator. Which means that now my denominator is cleared out, we're good. This becomes 2 pi times 2 is my numerator. My denominator is just 5 pi. This is my period. It took a long time to find. 4/5.
How is it 5 pi?
How is it what?
Oh, how is it 5 pi?
My B value was 5 pi over 2. So the period is 2 pi divided by whatever B is. Blue, 2 pi divided by whatever B is. So there's my B, the 5 pi over 2. So that's where the 5 pi came from. And I did reciprocal. My midline stays y equals 0. Frequency, reciprocal of 4/5. Five fourths.
Miss Grant, how would you find midline, or is it always y equals 0?
It's always y equals 0 for the midline. We're not going into more detail than that in this class. In pre-calculus, things will be transformed and shifted up and down. So, but it's going to be y equals 0 for all over. All right, so this now is, let's transition into what the homework is. I have 4 problems that I've given you for homework. Does anybody still need me to have this up on the screen? Do you need like a minute or a minute and a half or what? Or less? You know?
Miss Grant,
Yeah.
What's B again?
What's B?
Like, what is it?
It's a number in the equation right before the variable x. Whatever that number is in front of the variable x, that's going to be your B value. Homework looks like this. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I have filled in all of the x values for you. So, at number 5, my 1 is A. My B is 2. And I am going to use this space. I made it bigger on this worksheet to help. Cosine 2 times x. And I'm going to plug in these values. Now you're probably wondering, how did she know to pick those? Yes, I made the worksheet, but how would you know if these were blank? Well, first job, find the period. 2 pi over b. 2 pi over b. 2 pi over 2. My period for this number 5 is pi. That's why pi is at the end. That's one whole cycle through. And then if this is where my curve line ends, I want to know what it looks like in between. So what's half of it? What's 1/4 of it? Oh, pi over 4. So here's the whole pi, whole period. Half of the period. What's the halfway going to look like? What's 1/4 going to look like? And then finally, what's 3/4? Pi over 4 times 3. So here's how the values are obtained. Okay. Cosine 2 times 0, which is cosine of 0. So you do the math with the variable. You plug in your value for the x. Now you go to the unit circle. At 0, what's the cosine value? What's the first number in the ordered pair at 0? Well, my ordered pair is 1, 0. That means the first number in my ordered pair is a 1. Pi over 4, plug it in. The equation is cosine 2 times x. Cosine 2 times pi over 4. The 2 and the 4 simplify. It becomes cosine pi over 2. 2 times pi over 4 is pi over 2. Cross simplify. Go to pi over 2 on your unit circle. Oh, it's up here. What is the first number in the ordered pair? 0. I'm doing good. Cosine pi or 2 times pi over 2. Plug in instead of x, pi over 2. Simplify. At pi, what is my cosine? Pi is over here, 180 degrees. Cosine is the first number in the ordered pair, -1. Cosine 2 times 3 pi over 4. Let me. 2 over 4. Cosine 3 pi. We'll go to 3 pi over 2. Sorry. Like, there is no 3 pi. Sorry. 3 pi over 2 is my 270 degrees down at the bottom. The cosine value is the first number, which is a 0. Lastly, cosine 2 times pi. Okay, well, that's back to the beginning, 2 pi. What's the first number in the order pair at cosine 2 pi? It's 1. Okay, now we graph. 0, 1. Pi over 4, 0. Pi over 2, -1. 3 pi over 4, 0. Pi, 1. Connect the dots, la 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 la, smooth. And that is it.